Ultimate Halo.
What's going on, guys? This is Fletcher on Ultimate Halo, and today I am joined by the man, the myth, and the legend, Dean Abdu. Say hello, Dean.
Hi, I'm Dean Abdu. Nice to meet you.
So, for those who don't know Dean, he is one of the guys who was over at Halo Follower. Now he's just commonly known as Super Arab, and he also does things over at TGN. So if there'll be links in the description for Dean, but today we're going to do a kind of a quick podcast. We're going to talk about a few subjects. We're going to discuss some community questions, and we are going to start off with a topic first, and then we'll move on to the questions after that. So the first thing I would like to address, and it was actually addressed by a video I saw earlier today, and I will leave the link to that in the description, but it is in relations to Halo 5's art design. Now, I'm not saying there's anything inherently wrong with this art design, but it's Favin who made this video, and it really caught my attention, and I did agree with him, but I didn't really necessarily think about it until it actually happened. And it is to do with the sort of ratio of multiplayer maps that have a human art design, a Covenant art design, and a Forerunner art design, and that ratio is kind of unequally balanced. There's a hell of a lot of human maps. So, for example, Rig, Riptide, Plaza, Overgrowth, Plaza, Eden, and Empire. Yes, despite they all do have nice aesthetics, and don't get me wrong, they're not bad maps. They function well, they look good, and they do deviate away from each other, but they are human. And that is kind of it's not necessarily a bad thing. It depends how you look at it. But I really think that it is a bit of an aesthetic problem, and it really makes you, the only word I can sort of articulate my point with is it makes everything feel quite samey. Whereas if you go on to playing a slaying match on Truth, you feel like it puts you into a different place. You immediately, it sort of sends sparks around your head, and it really does make a big impact onto the player. So that's just sort of my opening line on the topic. So Dean, what are your thoughts on this?
On the art design, or the art style of Halo 4 and how Halo 5 has been as well. If you know me well enough and you've watched the podcast show that I used to do over on Halo Follower, then you know that my opinion is that I miss Halo 3 style. It's not about nostalgia or anything like that. I just personally, when it came to the Forerunner sort of styles in general, I don't know what it was, but Halo 3 made that look a lot better than what it currently does. Something's just off with the textures, and I don't really like them that much.
I think the beauty of what made the Forerunners architecture, and it's not just in Halo 3, you saw it throughout Halo 1 and 2 in the campaign and multiplayer maps, there was still a variation coming from every single time you went to a new Forerunner place. But when 343 sort of did their take on the Forerunner designs, everything was very pristine and shiny and metallic. And don't get me wrong, some of Bungie's Forerunner designs did have some of those elements. But what you got to realise, if you look at things like Sandtrap or some of the Halo 2 multiplayer maps, single player campaign maps, you will notice there's a lot of old ruins from ancient, I mean, obviously the Forerunners are ancient, but some of the older Forerunner architecture, and there was that variation. There was that brown and grey look that looks kind of gritty, and the opportunities were kind of I don't know, more broad than 343 likes to utilize, for example. So yeah, and so just to sort of get back onto the point a bit more with the multiplayer maps in Halo 5, the thing is, it's really frustrating for fans. Obviously, I can't speak for every fan, but I find it very frustrating. And it's by no means that I don't dislike any of these maps. For example, Riptide, that is a really good-looking map. And I tell you what, I really enjoy the art style of that. And it's not that I dislike any of the art styles of these human maps, but it just doesn't feel like there's any variation in terms of, you could, and Favin explained this in his video, that some of the maps can easily have a switch of this kind of art style. You can easily replace assets in a Covenant style, for example, and it still work the exact same way, aesthetically and functionally. So that was just kind of a dialogue. It had no real point. I just really want to get your guys' thoughts and start a discussion in the comments section. So please, I really do implore you guys to leave your comments, and you never know, we might talk about it again in the future, because it's one of those things I really support doing, starting a dialogue. And because we all know that Halo 5 is not perfect, it's got things that are great features and got some things that aren't so good. So let me know in the comments section. So next, we're going to move on to some community questions. Now, I sort of put it out on Twitter earlier today, and I didn't get that many questions because I was in a bit of a rush at the time. So in the comments for next week, I want you guys to leave any questions, whether it's life related, Halo related, YouTube related, anything to do with the sort. Leave it in the comment section and I will try my best to answer it in the future. So the first question is from, drumroll please, Interceptor XX says, at Fletcher UH, what do you want to see for Halo 6's multiplayer, and are you hyped for the upcoming Halo 5 monthly updates? So would you like to start that one off, Dean?
What do I want from Halo 6's multiplayer? Ooh, that's a really big thing to ask. Maybe make it a bit more classic in its feel. Like Halo 5 was definitely stepping forward, like towards that direction, giving it more of a classic Halo multiplayer feel. Like with Halo 4 sort of like drifted away, but they're now getting it back on track. So, and maybe a bit more of that feeling in Halo 6. I don't know anything in specific though. I can't think of anything in specific, because there was a lot like that they did right with it, you know. And I think when it comes down to it, if they just need to work on improving like the small things that they've missed out, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
just tweak it up.
Halo 5 was quite, for the most part, universally enjoyed in the multiplayer front of things.
Yeah.
I mean, what about Warzone? Because I don't think many people have too many complaints about Arena, but Warzone, perhaps there's a lot more room to sort of play with there.
Yeah, Warzone was really good. Like, I'll be honest, when they first like announced it and I saw gameplay footage of it, I didn't think I would like it that much. But when actually getting my hands on it and playing it, I found it to be really quite enjoyable. It's like a nice big team battle-esque sort of thing going on there, and it's not quite how Spartan Ops was like what they were trying to do, to add a bit of some different game modes. Like, I'm trying to think of the words.
Keep the player population going, sort of thing. Yeah,
but like Spartan Ops, after that series was done, like there wasn't much more going for it, and it was basically just reusing assets from the campaign. Whereas Warzone, like they made it its own thing. They put effort into it, and you can tell that they put effort into it when you pick up the controller and you get into a game of Warzone. Like you know that they really wanted to make it its own thing and be enjoyable for big team battle fans. So Warzone, I want them to bring that back, but I don't want them to do what they did with Firefight, where Firefight was great in ODST, but then when they tried to bring it back in Reach, they tried to do so many new additions that it just didn't feel like Firefight anymore. Like, don't change too much 343. As weird as that sounds, like I'm all about change, but don't change something that it's going to end up just being something completely different.
Well, there's that balance, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's the thing of keep it at its core, you know, the thing that makes it good, but don't deviate away from what actually does make it good. You know, you need to find that happy sweet spot. You don't want to ruffle up anybody's baby. Yeah, but again, you don't want to give them the same shit every single year. So yeah, definitely. I mean,
I know actually here one thing for multiplayer. The armor customization. This is the thing that I really didn't like in Halo 5, because it was so little. It wasn't as much as you could do, like compared to Reach's days. Like that armor customization was on point. You could do so much and change so much, and you actually made the Spartan like your own thing. It felt like your own personalized Spartan. So I kind of want them to bring back more of that custom abilities, customizable ability. There's a word somewhere there, but just all those options to customize your Spartan. I want them to bring that back in Halo 6, like.
And the point of that was as well, there was actual progression. It wasn't dictated by a random number generator. I'm not the biggest fan of the rec system. I see why they've done it. If it comes back, I will be kind of disappointed. Is there a place for it in Halo? it's debatable. But it was the reward that came with getting a specific armor set as well. If something cost a lot of credits, it was a big thing. You saw someone with some of the armor effects and was like, whoa, he must have grinded the hell out of this game.
You look at them and you're like, you definitely played well to earn that, because that's how the credits work. Like, you had to be a good player and you had to have a good game so that you could get more and more credits to be able to purchase all these different armor stuff and armor effects were awesome as well. Like the lightning one, I can't remember what it was called.
Inclement weather.
That's it, inclement weather. That was awesome. Seeing someone running around the map with lightning coming off their armor was just, it was both funny but like amazing at the same time.
Yeah. Exactly.
These are things I'd love to see be brought back in Halo 6.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my sort of hopes for Halo 6's multiplayer is, and obviously they try to do it a little bit now with Griffball and Assault, making them social playlists, but I think we need to find that happy medium between social game types and super competitive, because either way, when I'm playing multiplayer on Halo 5, I'm sweating my fucking dick off. I mean, it's awful. Like, I enjoy being competitive, but sometimes I just want to sit back, relax, and just take it easy. Yeah. So I want that happy medium. And as for the Halo 5 monthly updates, the next question kind of goes on to that. So I'll answer the next question and I will sort of come back onto that point. So the next question is by Franz Chicken Studio. What do you think will be in the Halo Reach DLC as seen on the expansion roadmap? Now, for those who haven't actually seen it yet, 343 Industries released kind of like a roadmap of all of the DLC that will be coming. We've got the 4 previous updates on the left, and on the right hand side we have the Ghosts of Meridian, Memories of Reach, Hog Wild, and Warzone Firefight. Now that last one is a very interesting one, but we will come on to that. But Memories of Reach, so what do we think will be in it? Well, I personally am almost saying it's a pretty safe bet that armor from Halo Reach will make it into the game. We've already seen 2 pieces of armor, Noble 6's armor in the Hammerstorm update, and we've already got Carter's helmet and body piece from Halo Reach. So I really think there will be more armor, perhaps some more weapon skins or weapon variants, as we've already seen with the Halo 2 BR and Halo Combat Evolved pistol, which was also in the Hammerstorm update. Perhaps more maps, something along those lines, and maybe new Forge objects from Reach. Who knows? There could be literally anything. I mean, I know you haven't actually played the last update yet, Dean, which...
No, you need to bug me down. Like, I have no time for gaming these days.
Yeah, be nice to him, fellas. He has no time these days. But anyway...
writing a dissertation, man.
Well, yeah, exactly. But the thing... what would... Because obviously we've just talked about it, some of the things you wanted to see from Halo Reach. Yeah. What would you like to see from Halo Reach be implemented in this Memories of Reach update?
The Falcon! I want the Falcon to come back. Yes.
Yeah, and we have been promised a flyable UNSC vehicle, or at least it's somewhat confirmed. I can't remember who, and I can't remember where and why.
It's gonna have to be the Falcon. Please bring that back. That
it could be.
What was that game mode? The big team battle game mode that they introduced in Reach?
Invasion.
I tell you what, when you had a good team with you and you had 2 gunners on the side and you piloting that Falcon, just flying up to that tower to take it on felt amazing and epic. The Falcon was just a great team vehicle. Like, it was really good, like, especially if you had a good pilot. Like, flying it was super fun as well. And I would love to see that being used in like games of Warzone, where just you've got these 2 gunners on the side and your pilot just flying around taking out the enemy team. Falcon, please. That's what I want. Mainly the Falcon.
You might have just hit the nail on the head there, actually, because like I said, we have been promised that. So perhaps that might be one of the additions, because that is an outcry that the community wanted. We wanted a flyable UNSC vehicle. We have the Banshee and we have the Phaeton, but we have no Hornet. We have no... So you might have just got it right there. So
if it's the Hornet, I'll be happy with the Hornet as well, but I'm rooting mainly for the Falcon. I love that vehicle.
I felt like the Falcon suited more team-based sort of game types, because
Yeah.
really the Hornet was very a one-man show. You couldn't really do anything on the sides because you just had your assault rifle or your pistol in Halo 3 or whatever weapon you had equipped. So it was more of a one-man show, was the Hornet.
Yeah.
But to sort of move on and progress about sort of my thoughts on the roadmap of the actual content plan for Halo 5. So we've just talked about Memories of Reach. The first one is Ghosts of Meridian. I haven't fully seen the new trailer yet. I haven't actually had time to sit down and see a little sneak peek we had. I'm aware that there's a new Mantis. It looks like a Gauze Mantis, so with a new turret, basically. Obviously, there's the Ghosts of Meridian the map. So I don't know whether it's pre-glassing. It looks like it is. So that might be interesting. Might be some quite interesting lore elements in that. So I can't really say anything much about that. Then we've got Hog Wild. I'd assume that includes Race. Race seems like a pretty good bet, and it's something that we don't have yet, like many game types, Infection and whatnot. So
bringing back like the race game type would be really good, especially with how much you can forge now. Like I can imagine there being great custom maps for racing stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean that's sort of what Let's Forge down at the same time, is that these game types aren't being utilized, and they are actually really big within the custom games of Forge community, and it's not being handled. It's just the trap spoon feed as content to make us coming back, but I think a lot of people are already just fed up with the game. But yeah, with Hog Wild, it's hard to say. I mean, all there is a picture of a Spartan and a Warthog, so it's not that easy of a call. Warzone Firefight, we have seen a sneak peek of, which is just, a set of players set up against a load of AI, pretty much like Warzone, Firefight, has always been. But I think where people need to sort of just be steady in their excitement for that is the fact that it will probably be online only. You won't be able to play it locally. There won't be as much flexibility as there was in Halo Reach. I don't think it'll be exactly like the original Firefight. I think there will be some changes to accommodate for the Warzone element, because it is called Warzone Firefight. So I assume you'll probably end up defending something, most likely a car. Who knows? That's more speculation more than anything. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the roadmap? Obviously, you haven't played the current update, but what do you think?
Well, Memories of Reach, I'm excited to see what they bring with that, because obviously I'm a huge Reach fanboy. I loved everything about Reach, and it's one of the fair few games that I do find myself going back to quite often with a bunch of friends, like just to have a few fun games online. So I'm look forward to seeing what they're going to bring that with that. Falcon, fingers crossed. Hog Wild, though, the idea of like a race game type being introduced into the online multiplayer, that seems like that could be really good too. I do enjoy me some races. I've not really got much of an opinion for Warzone Firefight. I don't want to get my hopes up too high for it, because when they did Firefight in Reach, it was Reach, yeah. I was
ODST in Reach, yeah.
Yeah. When they brought it back in Reach, I was let down. So I'm a bit hesitant with Warzone Firefight, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, just to comment on, like you said you didn't really like Firefight. I keep saying Warzone, it's so frustrating.
I loved it in ODST. I loved it in ODST, but when they brought it back in Reach, it just didn't have the same feel.
Well, I loved both. I understand what you're saying with the sort of feel thing with Reach, although there was so much like flexibility with Reach's Firefight. So I think a lot of people, they're either one way or the other. They loved ODST or they hated Reach, or they might have loved Reach or hated ODSTs. I was more of a Reach person for Firefight because I liked the flexibility. But yeah. Fair. Anyway, guys, this has been a podcast on Ultimate Halo. If you have any questions you would like to ask myself and whoever next week's guest will be, leave them in the comment section down below. As I've already stated, I'm with the one and only Dean Abdu, and thanks to you, Dean, for coming, taking a bit of time out. I know you're a busy guy with your dissertation. And I will see you next week in the Ultimate Halo podcast, and I will see you soon with a brand new video. Peace out, guys.
Subscribe now for more unfriggin' believable Halo content.